The warm weather's going to come to an end very soon, and so will all the bounty from our gardens and farmers markets. And what a great time to use up some of these fabulous vegetables we've been loving all summer long with some great dishes for you to try. Today we're going to make a tomato pie that's rich with lots of mozzarella cheese, and we're going to make a vegetable pizza, and we have a really special twist for you with that. It has no sauce and no cheese, but it is oh so delicious. We're going to make a zucchini casserole. I've got a great diet cocktail for you, really refreshing. And we're going to sum it all up with Butterbean Hummus. It's all going to be delicious. It's all the bounty of our gardens, and it's all going to be lots of fun today. Let's start our garden party with some fresh basil here. I want to chop that first. I need to have that ready to go for our tomato pie we're going to make. So we're going to just stack it up and roll it and get little ribbons here to go for our tomato pie. Okay. This adds such a terrific flavor. Ooh. Really does say summer. And this is a great thing that you can have for, gosh, dinner, an appetizer. You could actually even use it for breakfast. Depending on the size of your tomatoes, if you have really large ones, you might just need a couple, but you might need 4, you might need 6. I do keep the peels on them. And I have a ready-made deep dish 9-inch pie crust. And as we pop these in, we want to cover the bottom. And we want to come in with a nice handful of mozzarella. Come in with a little basil around. And then we're going to do some cracked black pepper. A good run there. And you can layer it however you want. It doesn't really matter. And a little drizzle of some olive oil. This smells so good when it's cooking. It is absolutely delicious. Last layer here. And we'll have a little basil on top of this. Cracked black pepper. Now, only on the last layer am I going to put salt, because you've got salt in your cheese and everything. So try not to over salt this, or you can put on just a little bit if you'd like, or just even leave it off. And let's do one more drizzle of our olive oil over that. And then we're going to top it off with more mozzarella, and it's going to be ready for the oven. Here is one tomato pie ready to go into a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes. That finishes up my 2 cups of zucchini that I've grated. We're in the kitchen today making all kinds of wonderful dishes with our fresh vegetables as summertime winds down. Into our bowl are 2 cups of grated zucchini, and I left the peel on, just washed them really well. All right, Next thing I want to do is I want to chop one medium onion. I think this is a dish that might really work well even with squash. But since to me the texture of the zucchini is a little bit firmer, you know, you might have a slight change in your texture, but I think it would be just still so delicious. Now it looks pretty good, and into our bowl. All right, second half, that together, so get our chop going. And into our bowl. All right. Now let's give that a good stir, kind of get that all mixed in there together. Now, I've got one box of corn muffin mix. And we'll sprinkle about half of it in there and get it really mixed up. Get our other half in just a second. Just want to make sure that everything is really, really blended well. Okay. Whoa. Get our other in there. There we go. And sometimes our dry ingredients sink to the bottom, so I really like to dig up from the bottom and make sure we get everything really incorporated. Now we're going to add 2 cups of grated sharp cheddar cheese. And we'll add this a little bit at a time. Do the same thing over, make sure that we're mixed really, really well. Go, let's get the rest of our cheese. Now, I've melted a stick of butter, and that's what's going to combine this and kind of be our little binding agent here. Give that a little stir around, and we'll make sure that we get all of our butter out of there. And I used unsalted butter. I have a friend who's really gotten me on to unsalted butter. Just says, get it out of your butter. I think we are blended really, really well. Let's get into our casserole dish here. Just spread this out. Kind of making sure it's spread out a little bit. Now this is going to a 400-degree oven for about 30 minutes until it's just beautifully and golden brown on top. Time for Butterbean Hummus. This is a great substitution. Instead of your chickpeas that you traditionally use in hummus, we're going to use butter beans. Since they're so abundant during the summer months, and oh my gosh, you can find them at the farmer's market, it gives us a nice little kind of different taste or whatever for hummus, and I just think it's going to be delicious. I've got it roughly 1.5 pounds here. We're going to blend a little bit at a time. Put in a little olive oil to get this started. Just a little bit here. And we have other goodies to add, so I'm going to start this. Boy, what a pretty color. Let's add the others. All right. And now let's go, and we're going to add about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. In we go. And to start off, about 1/4 cup of water. And I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic right now. And another little zhuzh here. That is looking good. Now, what we want to do is add our tahini, and this is sesame seeds that have been blended and just, oh my goodness, it is fantastic. And it's really going to thicken this up and help smooth it out. Now, I've got a little spatula here, there we go. Grab that. You could just smell the sesame. Oh my goodness. Get that in there. All right. We'll keep that around. Now, let's go in and let's add a couple of good pinches here of some salt. Put our top back on. There we go. Now I want it really, really smooth and creamy. And if you want, oh gosh, that is delicious. I'm gonna put in just a little bit more olive oil. I tend to like a lot of olive oil in my hummus because I just like the creaminess that it adds to it. Give another little bit. And this is so easy and so quick. Okay. Oh gosh. And imagine serving this with some of your other beautiful vegetables from your garden, maybe with some carrots, some celery, bell peppers, red or green bell peppers would be absolutely delicious. Isn't that a beautiful color? Just gorgeous. And you know it's really good for you too, great fiber. It is absolutely delicious. I'm sure you're gonna enjoy. In the process of using up all the fresh vegetables from the garden. And you know, I was talking with my daughter the other day and she said everybody seems to be into this vegetable pizza syndrome, and especially the young folks. So I thought, let's give it a try and let's see what we can do. I've got some mix here to make our own crust. And I'm just gonna pop this in here. I just got really tickled with her when she was describing it because she said, oh, Mom, it's so good. And I thought, well, you know, we've got some things here left over from the garden. Let's use them up, and everybody seems to like pizza, so let's go for it. I'm just going to tell you, my pan's going to be bigger than my crust, but it's what I've got, so it's what I'm going to use. All right. Let's get All right, now, we're going to let it rest for a few. I'm just going to set it aside, kind of come together, about 5 minutes. Now, since we had such good luck with squash, and you know squash is just prolific. I mean, you almost can't get rid of it. But I thought this would be something pretty, and my daughter loves squash. And then I had a neighbor who gave me some eggplant, and we've washed this, and again, we're just going to leave the skin on all of these. And some nice thin slices. And then one of the easiest tomatoes to grow are the Romas, the little small ones. I think they're kind of some of the best ones that we've had luck with around here. And I'm just going to trim the end off. And then we're going to come in and just do some pretty slices. All right. Now, I don't grow my own mushrooms, so I have a few store-bought, and here we go, just a few to add over the top. I love these. Gosh, this one is beautiful. So pretty and fresh. And I've got some artichoke hearts here. They're gonna kind of come apart as you slice. And these are not the marinated ones. They're just been kind of in the brine. We'll give them a little slice here. Gonna get all our veggies, nice little slices. All right, last thing I wanna do over here, I've got a few green olives and I wanna give them just kind of a little bit of a rough chop. One last item I want to add. Ooh, delicious. I've got some fresh basil that I've rinsed off. It's from my garden. And we'll get about, let's see, just take some of these big leaves. And I want to stack these. And we're going to do some pretty little rolls of them. Get these all turned kind of the same way. Here we go. And just roll it, roll it, roll it. And we'll cut some little ribbons in here. Ooh, does that ever smell like summer? Fresh basil. Ooh, I love that. All right. I think that looks just great. I think that looks like plenty. And I'm going to tell you what we're going to top with, and you're just going to be amazed. We have made a batch of the Yukon Gold potatoes, mashed potatoes. And this is the basis for all of our beautiful toppings, and this goes on top of our crust. First, I know what I want to do. I want to get this pan coated. Got a little vegetable spray here. Oh, and I know what else I need. I'm gonna take just a little bit of butter here so this doesn't stick to my fingers. And we'll just start pressing this. Ooh, that looks so nice. And just we'll press, and if you need a little bit more butter, get that on your hands, and oh yeah, that helps a lot. And I wanna just, as much of a circle as I can make and as thin as I can get it. Let's start our pizza. I think that's about as good as Sister Belle can get it. And we've got some mashed potatoes. We'll take it almost to the edge, and if I have to go a little bit more, I just love cooking with my hands. It's really good opportunity, I think, go play with your food. That's what I tell people all the time, just play with your food. So I am getting to it. I don't want it to be too terribly thick. But a nice base there. I think that looks pretty good. Now, let's start laying on. And if we have to cut any more, we certainly can. So you know what I think I'm gonna do? I think I'm gonna take these little rounds of squash and I'm gonna cut them in half. And we'll start tucking them in, which I think looks pretty. Okay, kind of trying to keep our veggies flat. Now I'm going to take our fresh basil ribbons, kind of put that on the top around here. I think that looks great. Now on top of that, let's go place a few little tomato slices. Whatever you don't use, you can always put in a great salad. Okay, all right. I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Now we have a few mushroom slices we'll put around. Gosh, I love how beautiful these are. They're so big and pretty. This is looking delicious. All right, a few of our little artichoke hearts right here on top. Okay, a few more of those little slivers around in here. Oh gosh, this looks so good. Now, green olives, a little splash of that. Get back on there, and let's do some of our black. Wow, that is a pretty pizza. Now, what I want to do is I want to give it a good sprinkling of some extra virgin olive oil. Okay, let's get that in there. And all over the top, a little bit around the edges. And my friends, I think we're ready to go to a 475-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to really watch this crust and see how our pizza does. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fix a little really light cocktail to have while we're enjoying all of our veggie dishes. So I've got a coffee flavored liqueur, and I just want an ounce of it, just one little measure. And then I have some diet tonic. I hope this doesn't spew all over me. No, it actually was pretty good. slight spewing. We fill that up. Now what I want to do is I want to add a wedge of lime to this. Stir and I'm off.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. All right, honey.
You've made some beautiful things here.
Well, time to test it all out. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
Start with this.
Oh, but it's so good.
Isn't it good? Gotta try the hummus.
You know, I've been looking forward to this one.
Okay.
So you use the butter beans.
I use fresh butter beans. Didn't do anything to them.
It's so good.
And see, they just got so much texture to them.
Yeah, that's such a great flavor. All right, I gotta go in for this pizza.
Okay, go for the pizza.
Because you know I love pizza.
It's gonna fall. Use both
No,
hands.
I got it.
It's gonna fall. Mother's telling you. Cooking lady said so.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that
so
wonderful?
good. With the mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. We did Yukon Gold.
To the cooking lady.
Well, thank you, honey. I'm so glad you're eating with me.